Welcome back, viewers. You're still on to the press, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We've now been joined by our guest, Engineer Toba Owojaiye, who's a public affairs analyst and would help us analyze most of the headlines we read out to you earlier. You're welcome to the studio this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Good to have you again this week.
Good to be here again.
Our viewers, please note that this is also the segment where you can call in and make your contributions known as the conversation progresses. All right. Good morning once again. I'm sure over the weekend, you saw the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway project that was, inaugurated. So, what's your opinion on that? President Tinubu says it will transform lives and it will boost 30 million businesses. And on the other hand, we have opposition parties complaining and stating that that's not what we need at this time. And there are conversations that those that have properties along that coastline may not get the right compensation. Let's get your opinion on it.
Yeah, it's a tough decision because leadership is full of tough decisions. The government has to look closely to what they need to do. It will open a completely new stream of income. It's a completely new economy will be built along that side. Let's call it a coastal economy. Will be built along that line. You see, I agree it is padded. I agree. Anybody who sees that figure knows that this is, if you add all the compensations, you add all the, but you see, there's a lot of trouble with Nigeria. 700-kilometer road. Yes, there's a lot of trouble with doing new roads in Nigeria. There's security you have to take along. People don't calculate that. You have to carry military, you have to carry civil defense, you have to carry police along 700 kilometers as you walk. You have to secure. On a group I was in, a guy was looking to hire 30 hobo trucks because of that road.
Okay.
So people don't understand that this is an economy. That money is still going to trickle down. People are going to supply the cements. People are going to supply the sand. People are going to supply the iron rods. That money will still end up within the Nigerian economy. Yes, it's disheartening and sickening to see what happened to Landmark. I think they should take it to court. They should get a fair compensation for that happening to their business. But if you weigh the entire incident, it has more merits than demerits. We have milked 7 oil-producing states for over 50 years in this country.
Okay.
We've milked them, we've used them to build Abuja's road, we've used them to build Kano road, we've used their resources to build from Katsina to Maradi, which is another country.
Okay.
So now that something that comes that can benefit them, we are now saying because it was padded or there will be some people's cables that may cut, we should not do what will benefit them. It will make journey on that axis easier and faster. Lagos to Calabar will be 6 hours. Right now it's more than 15 hours if you want to apply that route. So it's good for the economy. A new set of businesses will build. The lands in those areas will increase in value. You see universities, you see business. It's a whole new economy. It's good. That's painfully good. That's what's.
What do you mean by painfully good? You're still standing on the padding issue?
Yes, the padding issue. I still think it's padded.
But according to we tried to fact check it, but there's been no evidence of padding so far so good.
Yes, no, I'm just saying the people have not added that. Yes, people have not added the fact that there's going to be a lot of compensations. And in compensations, you cannot tell exactly how much somebody will be compensated. There are other countries that when they build those new roads, there's not so much drama around it. There's not so much people to compensate around it. So those countries, they'll find it easier to build with lesser money. But Nigeria, everybody's a wise man. In the words of Asake, everybody's wise.
Anyways, I like the fact that you said it's opening up new doors to the economy. Anyway, let's move on to other stories on the paper this morning, and we have this one on First News. Says dramatic twist in Kano Emirate saga. I want that to sink in. dramatic twist in Kano Emirate Saga. Court orders eviction of Bayero from palace, bars in orders from emirship as tension mounts. Now, this is a case of two court injunctions. The first one saying everybody should maintain status quo, and then the second saying you're no longer the emir, you are the emir, so you should leave and the police can even take you out. In fact, the social media has been streaming with, oh, palace to prison sort of statements, and it's becoming more like something unheard of, even though it's not like it's new to have something like this happen. But in a state like Kano State, where people look out for let there be peace for the sake of Kano State, what do you make of this power tussle from, first of all, the dethronement of the previous emir to the enthronement now, and then the dethronement of the, I don't know how to explain it.
I understand what you're saying.
Exactly, from the dethronement of Sanusi Lamido, yes, to the enthronement, to his enthronement now, and then the dethronement of Agbo Bayero, and this current controversy of I am still the emir, I am not the emir, but I am staying in the small palace in Nasarawa, I am still in control, I am still in charge, because the Federal High Court says that everybody should maintain status quo. And now the State High Court is saying you are no longer the emir, stop parading yourself as emir. Let's get your thoughts on all of this tussle as it's described.
It has shown us that they have demystified the traditional stools. For the Kano Emirate has existed for more than 1,000 years. So for the Emirate that has existed longer than Nigeria to now be dragged by politicians and governors, because our constitution has empowered the governor over the emir. That's the way the constitution is now. So the emir is not as strong as he is. If this was 60 years ago, none of those governors will even sit in Kano, because the emir was the strongest person. But that has changed now, you see. So there was a court injunction that said Sanusi should not be removed, and that court injunction was not obeyed by Ganduje, and he went on to do what he did. So which of the court orders are we asking to be obeyed now? Is it the court order that told Ganduje not to suspend Sanusi, or the court order now saying Bayero should remain, or the court order saying that we should we should keep the status quo as it is? It's a very confusing order as it is. But behind the stage, there's a political play. There's an NNPP play and there's an APC play. Okay? NNPP wants to bring back Sanusi. The APC wants to bring
to keep Ado.
Ado. And those two are very strong factions, and Kano is one of the strongest. I am of the opinion, I said it earlier but not on this show, that I expect to see a lot of tension in the 4 states with the largest number of votes, because I understand the way politicians fight. I understand the fight going on in River State, and I don't think it's going to stop now. I understand that Kano has to be owned and controlled by whoever wants to win in 2027. These are all the plays that are being pushed early. You see, and when you see push political plays,
so you mean this is like a politics against 2027?
Yes. When you see people play early, politicians don't play late, except baby politicians. Big politicians play 3 years, 5 years ahead of the game, so that you don't start doing it 1 year to the election and it's now obvious to everybody. But to us, we see it early. They want to settle all these matters. Let's know where Kano is going to stand. Who are we going to need to talk with? Who should be the power in charge? My issue is that Kano is a boiling point. Kano boys are dangerous, and they are well armed on the 2 sides of the divide. It's a sharp divide. I've been to Kano, I go there often. Sharp divide. MNPP has strong boys. APC has strong boys. So it's not a fight we need. It's truly not a fight we need. And Kano is one of the few states that have not had any Boko Haram crisis, if you notice. So we don't want Kano going in that direction. We don't want Kano having that.
All right, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're welcome to the press. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Chief Areo.
Chief Areo, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
it has been a while.
Honestly, absolutely.
It's beautiful. You see, let me just quickly contribute to what your guests have just said about Kano.
Please go ahead.
You see, Kaya Mari, his electoral promise was that he was going to restore Sanusi. You see, the illegality and the impunity of Ganduje was very alarming. In a country that we have traditional rulers, how can he remove Sanusi without even giving him a fair hearing? They say he who go to equity must go with clean hand.
Exactly.
You see, they are trying to play politics with people's life, taking into consideration the volatile situation of Kano. And you see, I want Bola Tinubu to be very careful in dealing with this matter, and that of rivers. You see, river happened to be the economic power of this country. And that to crack it on, Fubara comes from the riverine area whereby the golden egg is being laid. So that is why I am saying that he should be very careful. You see, they are given a scenario whereby every 4 years, that is to say, we are going to change Emir. The traditional institutions have been politicized, and that is why Nigerians have to be very, very, very careful. Now, can Tinubu beat his chest and tell Nigerians that what is happening in Kano, he does not know anything about it, and if he does not know anything about it, it is high that he rise to the occasion to make sure that all this effort Ganduje is doing to remove Sanusi, I should say he should be able to talk to Ganduje. This life is not like that. If you want peace, work for peace. There can never be peace without justice.
Absolutely.
The way Sanusi was removed, there is no justification in it, and that is why you see the problem. They say the problem that is not solved in the morning becomes trouble in the evening. God bless you. God bless our country, Nigeria.
God bless you, Chief Arel. Thanks for your contribution. He has said quite a lot of things, especially stating that the federal government might be aware of it, even though they said they are not aware and they have no answer in it. Even Sanusi Olamide also commented that and thanked the federal government for not interfering. Now, this issue has become an issue that even the deputy governor had to accuse the NSA, though he has retracted his statements and apologized. So, do you think that there's any sort of call of any sort of federal government interference?
So let me backtrack a bit to side Ganduje a bit, to just say it from his opinion.
Let's get it.
Right? From Goodluck's time, Sanusi was CBN governor, but was very vocal about politics.
Okay.
Okay? So when he became an emir, he did not transition fast into the mold and role of an emir. An emir doesn't speak on political matters. An emir is a traditional stool. So many people, even in Kano, felt that Sanusi was not sticking to the emir's role and may even have had a presidential ambition, which is not part of an emir's.
But he came out to state categorically that he has no intention.
Yes, I understand that. That's in politics. We don't. What you say has. How many times have people said, "What am I going back to look for in the villa?" And the same people now have a campaign team afterwards and fight for it. So that's not anything special. So he's speaking on every matter. Was part of what they said. An emir must be quiet. An emir must not take sides. Those are part of the things that fueled that thing. So now that he's back there, if you have noticed, he has said nothing. This is what we want to see, that he as an emir understands that his words must be golden, his words must be heavy, so therefore his words must be few.
But saying that an emir must be quiet doesn't mean that an emir should watch things go bad.
Now, I understand that, but you see, you need to understand your role. It's like, I don't know, in different houses, there's in my own house, my mother was a person who always corrects 200 times a day. But my father just gives you one stern look once in a year. He doesn't beat you, just one good look from his face, and it resets you for the year. So that's more of an Emir role, not the daily speaking. It's not like me that comes on news every week to speak. An Emir must settle into the role. You have done banking, you have done CBN government, you have done activism. You are now Emir of carrying the weight of 1,200 years heritage. You must fit and suit yourself to this role.
Well, we have personal difference as well.
Become the father of Kano and all the other Emirates that are somehow under it. That's what he needs to sink into. He needs to draw NNPP together, draw APC together, see that these are all his people that he leads, and lead them right. I don't think he will be removed.
Let's look at the angle of the jury. I think I have a problem with them contradicting each other. If, for instance, it is not within your jurisdiction, why comment on it? Why should it be an issue of it wasn't supposed to get to the federal? It's a state matter. It should have been handled at the state level. So why would the federal matter accept it and make a decision on it? So let's look at the jury. Are they the ones throwing these people into this dilemma, or it's just Nigerians overthinking things?
Yes, no, you can always blame them, but you see, the way our law is created, our law is one of the best laws in the world and one of the worst. It gives you rights, no matter how wrong you are, to approach the court. And it gives time for things to be addressed. But the issue is that most of these things, we want them to be addressed immediately. That's
because justice
but that's not how the
denied.
court works. The court cannot sit every day for one matter. So what I expect them to do is there has to be an interpretation to that order. Are we maintaining status quo while the matter is like tribunal in Kogi State? Ododo still remains while we wait for the matter of Muri. We won't say Muri go and sit in the office meanwhile. No, we have to wait. Once there's a matter in court, who is the court saying to? What does the court mean by maintaining status quo? Who should remain? Who should wait? Once that's on ground, they should follow it judiciously by law, and then whatever happens, we'll be here. But let's not hit up Kano, burn Kano. Then where will we use to travel from the north down here? That's the major route.
Okay, so let's look at the kind of power that it looks like the state has over the monarchical system.
Yes.
In Kano State.
Not
just Kano State, most of the states. Is it really right?
Okay, I would use Edo State as an illustration. Edo people don't play with the Oba of Benin.
Yes.
So a case came out last month where the government of Edo State was in a joint suit with some smaller chiefs who sued the Oba of Benin to court. The governor had to run everywhere to say, I'm not the one who brought this case. I was even joined in this suit. I am not the one bringing the suit. Because in Edo State, you cannot question the Oba. The governor has the right, constitutional rights, right, to even change the Oba. But the government dares not, because the people are more strongly behind the Oba than the governor. This is a traditional stool. But you see, this happens, that's what I'm saying, in Edo State, it pans out that way. But in Kano, it's the traditional stool is losing its reverence, which is why it is being dragged like this. And they're saying the persons involved are the ones now allowing the traditional stool to be dragged. Between SLS and Bayero, they are part of the people messing up the strength of the traditional stool. This is a stool that should be revered.
So do you expect, or do you also agree that Bayero should have just walked away the way Sanusi walked away in the first instance?
Respect the office, and if it comes back to you, take it. But you cannot you cannot go against the Oba of Benin. I dare any governor to try it. This is what we should see.
All right, we just hope that they do better in Kano State. Now let's move on to other stories.
Yes, let's move on to
On the Matrix newspaper, there's an interesting headline. I call it interesting. When you hear me read it out, or when it's displayed on the screen, you would understand why I said interesting. It says PDP-LP merger talk dead on arrival. PDP LP merger talk dead on arrival. Why Atiku Obi merger talks might not work, says ex-rep member, and Obi will not be involved in a merger that is only seeking power. That's coming from a spokesperson, Eunice Atanko. Now, do you see a situation where, because there's been talks, visits, we see pictures, we see some sort of what is looking like an alliance or a merger, we don't know yet, we can't tell, but do you see a situation where they can merge to take power in 2027?
Yes, they can merge. There's nothing stopping them from merging.
Okay, but this statement says dead on arrival. What's your position?
That's his opinion. I see them merging. They know they made this mistake.
Okay.
See, the best time to have beaten Tinubu was 2022.
Okay.
When he won the ticket, that's when PDP and all of them should have come together. Kwankwaso was in PDP. Wike was in PDP. Obi was in PDP. Atiku was in PDP. Now, they knew that Buhari had done 8 years. Many people were not happy with his performance in 8 years. That was when all the 4 of them should have stuck together. But Wike wanted Ayu gone. Ayu, who, in my opinion, has no electoral value. People argued with me then. Now I hope they are not arguing with me that Ayu still has no electoral value now. When the man is removed from position and everything he has pertaining election goals, means he doesn't have electoral value. He may be good in the seat, but will not have electoral value.
Yeah.
So they threw away G5 for an Ayu who will not be able to deliver in his word. So these were the mistakes PDP made. What we are saying is they are now united in defeat. You are uniting now in defeat. Why couldn't you guys unite 2022?
When it mattered the most.
Yes, when it mattered the most. That was the best time to have struck. Tinubu was not in seat. In short, the Buhari government, I believe, was not even in support of Tinubu's government at that time. Those were the opportunities they would have had. Now they have looked back and seen that this was our mistake. So how do we remove this man? And the man is smarter than them. So even if they unite, I can assure you that Tinubu will create other stronger candidates in other parties. Tinubu knows that he is not generally loved. He won with only 36.6% of votes. So he knows that he needs the opposition divided. They know that the opposition cannot be divided, but do they have the power to keep all the oppositions together? Who will be the presidential candidate? Will Atiku stop contesting? Atiku said he will allow Obi.
I was going to ask you next.
He said he will allow Obi, and after 1 week, we saw him come back and said he was going to
continue to contest.
Because the same Hallelujah boys have gone back to him to tell him, what are you saying?
Who are the Hallelujah boys?
Hallelujah boys are those who just hail you, whether you are going to win or not. We call them Hallelujah boys in politics.
Okay, now I understand.
So, and they make money from it. It's a business.
Okay.
Let's say every 4 years you get 500 million to come out, speak for this candidate and hustle, whether he wins or not. In 4 years time they'll give you 500 million. It's now a job, it's now a business. So those kind of people will want you to always contest no matter what, and every politician has them. Tinubu has them, Obi has them, and Atiku, who has contested many times, has a lot of them. So they'll tell him, okay, you can't claim that you're not going to. It's too early to drop out of this race because they have to eat.
So I'm wondering, let's look at it from this perspective. Yes. If Atiku and Obi were to have a merger alongside maybe Kwankwaso, all of these conversations coming up,
yes,
do you see a situation where, for instance, a vice president cannot want to contest to be a vice president again?
No, he cannot even constitutionally. He has been vice president for 8 years, so he can never be vice president.
So which means that he will want to be the president,
that's
and maybe
yes,
Obi will be the vice. Do you think obedience will allow Obi to be the vice?
That's what
do you think the Southeasterners will allow Obi to be the vice to Atiku? And do you think an Atiku flying that ticket, or being that person, the major candidate, is going to be allowed when it comes to zoning of power? Because power has just gone to the south for the first 4 years, and it's usually like a rational thing.
8 years.
8 years here, 8 years there. So is this not really looking like dead on arrival?
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be tough for them. They understand that their best chance was 2 years ago. Now you're going to have
Their
to.
best chance was 2 years ago if Obi was going to be the one flying the ticket, or any other southern candidate was going to be flying the ticket.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So
I wanted to understand.
Yes. But now that they are where they are now, their best chance will be for Atiku to back Obi. But
Okay.
if Atiku backs Obi,
He will lose 4 years of his life again.
no.
He will lose another 4 years.
You mean Atiku?
Yes.
No, he's gone.
But he says he would keep contesting so long as he's alive, hale and hearty.
So if Obi does 4 years, you think he'll just do only 4 years?
He will want to do 8 years. So what happens to Atiku?
So
will he keep waiting forever?
Will he wait for another 8 years? That's what I'm saying. Once he agrees for Obi, he's gone. He knows it. Everybody knows it. Some people already believe that he's gone already. So is it like in 8 years that he will not be gone? So this is the issue on ground. Now, even if he agrees for Obi, will they not agree for Obi? That's another question.
But you said he's been playing his cards well, so he might have a chance.
Yes, but he's just started.
2027.
He has just started.
He has 3 years.
Yes, he has 3 years to do that. If Atiku backs him early, and they come, not Atiku backs him and the next week says something else. Atiku backs him. Atiku starts going with him round the north. This is what we expect. They're able to get a Kwankwaso along to go around the north. The north will now agree and back him. It will take time. So if they don't start early, they won't get it. But I'm telling you, the Tinubu they are up against, once he sees 2, 3, 4 moves, he's going to find all they are generals. He's going to find all the captains and promise them promotion, and they're going to create other parties.
Now let's talk about these individuals.
Yes.
These are individuals
Yes.
in this race.
Yes.
Let's talk about their parties. Do you think it's possible, because it's beyond them, just individuals making this plans? It's also about their political parties and the solutions that they bring to the table,
Yes.
looking at capacity of each candidate and who best wears the cap or who its best suits. Do you think it's something that all of these political parties can come together and form? Because they're looking at having another formidable APC in an alliance or a merger. So do you think it's something that some of their political parties will want to rally together and, take on?
See, it's hard for the candidates, and it's harder for the parties. For one, for now, Atiku cannot even determine his preferred candidate was of his camp was Suswan, and allegedly Damagun is on the side of Wike, allegedly. Now they have not even been able to drag power of PDP from a Wike that is half leg in APC, half leg in PDP.
With the APC member.
Yes, so you are not even able to drag PDP from his hand. Labour Party is trying to drag some powers at the back end are trying to drag power from Abure. Some powers are trying to retain Abure. So we already even have these two parties not even strong. Apart from Peter Obi, the only other thing that Labour Party has strong is the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, doing wonders, and I praise him. Right? And he has also not agreed to stay in the shadows of Peter Obi. Have you noticed?
Absolutely.
He goes to see Tinubu whenever he wants to see him. He hails him whenever he wants to hail him. I've seen him more with Tinubu than with Obi since he became governor. I've not seen 5 pictures with him and Obi since he became governor. So the same tell you that he too is a man of his own. So it's hard for the candidate, and it's even harder for the parties. I wish them the best. Kwankwaso's party has even suspended him last year or sometime this year. He had to now fight his way back to become the boss of the party. And all is not even well between him and Abba, but time will make this clear.
And it looks like the Labour Party is also not finding it funny, because their chairman seems to be in some sort of soup at the moment with conversations around his own local government suspending him.
Yes.
Anyways, let's move on to other stories on the paper. We have this one on Daily Independent that says AGF makes case for scrapping of state electoral commissions. It says they are appendage to every incumbent governors and wants functions, powers transferred to INEC. Just a few days ago, there were conversations that they dragged the federal government dragged the 36 state governors to court, stating that the local governments need to have their own autonomy. There's been that case on ground for a while. The federal government just, became part of the petitioners. What do you make of that and this issue of scrapping of state electoral commissions?
You see, we don't have strong institutions in Nigeria. It is for me, our greatest problems. If we had a strong institution, how can an institution ask for us to scrap another institution? Why don't we scrap the AGF? What is it doing? So this is my issue. If you say that it should be, they should be allowed to do their work, the governor should give them independence, then also the president should give the INEC also independence. Yes, I agree that largely the governors decide what plays out, but there are instances that have shown us that it plays out differently. In Kaduna State, when El-Rufai was governor of APC, PDP won a lot of chairmanship positions, and that election was run by the state. So it's not in every case. Yes, in Edo State, PDP won all 18 local governments. In Oyo State, PDP won all. So there's a strong affinity or probability that the governor's party will win all the chairmanship elections. These are things we've seen in Nigeria, except, so they have a little point for saying they should scrap it, but not scrap. If you want it to be scrapped, the same you is in the same breath saying that you want autonomy for finances for the local government.
Exactly.
So what, your request is contradictory. The issue we have in local governments, that even right now with all the autonomy they've been given, when the money is paid to the local government chairman, he withdraws the money in cash and takes some large percentage of it back. Okay, let me add the word allegedly, so I don't get arrested.
What's the evidence?
I've seen it play out many times, and he takes that money and gives it to the, I'll mention the office, the chairman of the local government associations. Let's say a position like that in government, and take the money in cash. You are paid by the federal government. You now take a large portion in cash, take it through this conduit pipe, and it ends up with the state government back again. So where is your autonomy? Means this money entered your account. Means that we need to have a way to monitor the money as it enters your account. It should be made public. If we paid you 1 billion this week, we need to know what you did with the 1 billion. We need to be able to track it. This is the point in which they can get autonomy. When they know that the money that gets to them is being tracked, they will not tell the state governor, okay, my hands are tied. I have to use this money for these projects as it has been given. Everybody's seeing where the money is going. I can't divert this money. Once money can be diverted, then we are just playing.
So what do you think should be done? Because we know that tackling things from the local level is how we can get things right in this country, starting with insecurity and every other issues.
True.
But it starts at the very local level. So what do you think is best to be done?
I expect the president to put very strong softwares and monitoring systems to the money that arrives to the local government.
After all, we have artificial intelligence technologies.
Yes. Monitor that money. Let them have clear softwares. That's why I keep mentioning because once something can be trackable, then it's easy to monitor, it's easy to guide. The governor will stay far from it. The local government, the traditional rulers will stay far from that money. All the witches that eat it will stay far from that money. Once you make it clear and known, this money has arrived. This local government, 26 million arrived today. This is what the monies are for. When it is clearly spelled out and made public, then those monies cannot disappear back into the hand of the state government.
All right, let's move on. In like 3 minutes, let's get your comment on what the Minister of Education said. No, we have like 6 minutes and all. We'll take social media, but let's just split it in 3 minutes. So let's discuss what the Nigerian Aviation Minister said, Festus Keyamo. He says Nigeria Air remains suspended. That's according to federal government. And he says ownership structure of suspended airline not beneficial to Nigeria. Nigeria, Saudi Arabia to revive cargo flight operation, says Keyamo. I'm sure you heard him yesterday talk about how Nigeria Air or Air Nigeria is fraud. He doesn't believe it to be our own airline, stating specifically that if it was ours, it should have been local. Though there are conversations around the fact that it might not be, it might be, but let's get your thoughts on that. They
should open an Oputa panel on it. all these drugs. You see, once information is public, everything is public, then everything is every other thing is a drama. Every other thing is cosmetic.
Okay.
Bring the man to come and say what he says. Put it on record.
He's still answering cases, though.
Yes, put it on public record. Then if he mentions that Saudi Arabia has shares, let Saudi Arabia come and tell us they have shares. They will come.
And how many percent they have?
And what percentage they have. And why they have it in Nigeria. What due process went on. Make these things public. Stop hiding things. Stop telling us things that you know you can't bring to a panel. Create a panel for this matter. Let us understand how they spent 175 million to do a logo.
But I'm wondering, when cases like this stem and things like this come up, it's always as though in a bit of time, breeze is going to blow it off.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, just this morning I woke up and I remember the case with EFCC and Eyabilo.
Yes.
It looks as seeing breeze has just blown it off the surface of the earth.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem to be making it to the front page of our papers anymore. And we've not heard anything about it. And this is coming up. It looks like something that in the next few days it might just be blown away again, because this had come up, I think, as at last year. And then it's coming up again now. We don't know how long it's going to be sustained. We don't know if anything is going to come out to resolve this for the general public's notice. What do you make of this?
I want to give you an illustration. We were working for a politician back in 2014 when Goodluck was still president, and a nude picture of him surfaced on social media. All of us that were aides and sub-aides were running up and down. What should we do before he came to work? Breaking our heads, talking with newspapers, talking with this, delete this, do this. By the time the man came, we said, "Sir, what do we do?" What do we? He said, "Do nothing." You say what? He says, "In 7 days' time, Nigerians will have bigger problems than my nude picture."
Absolutely. Aren't we always exemplifying that?
And in 3 days' time, Nigerians had far more problems than his nude picture. So this is what I'm saying. If you don't create what I would call it, a cold case agency, something like SERAP, whose work is not to follow fresh cases. Their work is just to
keep investigating those cases.
On cold cases that are not in the eye of the media again, and they help us keep a track on this is done. We cannot be able to track things that have been led to lay low because it's not a noise. We still need this matters tracked.
All right, so let's quickly go to the story that we have for you on social media. Yesterday was Children's Day, and today is Menstrual Hygiene Day, by the way. And let's quickly look at the social media video that we saw of Governor Abba Yusuf Kabir empowering children in his state. You saw that?
Yeah.
He empowered 500 children with 20,000 naira each. That's to a sum of 10 million naira. But some persons find it a big deal. I think I got a few comments, and I think somebody says, why are they giving them money? What about education? There are other options to have given them to better their lives. But what's your take on that? Do you think it's a bad idea to have decided to empower those children the way he did?
It's a day, it's an event. Yes, I understand that he could have renovated one school with that money. But which one school will he renovate with 10 million? How far will 10 million go renovating one school? What we are expecting him to do, if he has done this now, the next year he should do something more for schools. The next year he can do empowerment. So there's a child that may get this 20,000 and be able to use it for something worthwhile.
Of course.
Another person is going to just use it to take drugs. So it's not so much a gain, but it's a gesture.
All right.
That I want youth to know that I'm on their side. So it's not a bad thing. He should fix schools. That's most important. All
right. Thank you very much for your time today, Engineer Toba Owojaiye. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me as always.
All right, viewers, that's all the cuttings on today's show. Thank you for calling in, and for those that couldn't, we expect you to do that again tomorrow. I am Olamide Alhassan, and I'll see you later.